Assalamu alaikum students, I hope you will be fine. In the previous lecture we have discussed properties of four states of matter. Concept of density has also been given to you. Now in this video we will discuss some topics related to pressure. After watching this video you will be able to understand pressure, atmospheric pressure, instrument used to find atmospheric pressure, variation of atmospheric pressure, its applications, pressure in liquids and Pascal's law. So students, let's start our lecture. First of all, we will discuss the term that is pressure. It is force per unit area, that is P is equals to F over A. In simple words, pressure is how much force is applied on a small area. Formula for pressure is P is equals to F over A. It means this pressure is inversely related with the area. Smaller area produces more pressure. In this equation, if you put unit of force, that is Newton, and unit of area, that is meter square, then unit of pressure is Newton per meter square. Now take an example. If you look at the picture, hold the pencil in this way, in which finger you will feel more pain or stress. Obviously, you feel the pain where your finger is pressed by the tip of the pencil. It implies that smaller area produces more pressure. Now take another example from your daily life. Take a water pipe. Now if you want to increase the water flow, you press the pipe from its nozzle. In this way you increase the pressure by decreasing the area. Now our next topic is atmospheric pressure, but before defining it we should know about atmosphere. What is atmosphere? So students, our earth is surrounded by a layer of gases known as atmosphere. These gases have different densities. As you move up, density will be decreased. Now pressure exerted by these gases is known as atmospheric pressure. It acts equally in all directions. In this diagram, this blue region around the earth represents atmosphere. Take an example of air-filled balloon. When you fill air in the balloon, it expands equally in all directions. Inside balloon, there is an air pressure, whereas outside the balloon, there is atmospheric pressure, and both are equal. Now take another example of tin can. If we take a water-filled can, heat it until the water begins to boil. Close the can and place it under tap water. It will squeeze due to atmospheric pressure. Why? And the answer is, when you pour cold water, steam inside the can condenses, leaving empty spaces. Now inside the air, pressure will decrease, so it will squeeze due to high atmospheric pressure outside the tin can. Mercury barometer. Mercury barometer is used to measure atmospheric pressure. It consists of a glass tube 1 meter long, closed at one end. After filling it with mercury, it is inverted in a mercury trough. Mercury in the tube descends and stops at a certain height. Due to inversion, a vacuum is created on the top. This column of mercury is supported by the atmospheric pressure. If you look at the picture, this red arrow represents level of mercury, which is 76 mm, and blue arrow represents atmospheric pressure on mercury, due to which it will rise in the mercury column. Units for the measurement of atmospheric pressure can be in terms of Pascal or torr, and 1 torr is equals to 1 millimeter of mercury. Now we will discuss a question given in your book, that why water is not suitable to be used in barometer, and the answer is due to density difference. Mercury is 13.6 times more denser than water. If you look at the slide, density of water is equals to 1000 kg per meter cube, whereas density of mercury is 13,600 kg per meter cube. This implies that mercury is 13.6 times more denser than water. More density means less space. If you look at the formula of density, then density is inversely related with the volume, that is the space occupied. It means if we take water which is less denser, then it will take more space. That's why water is not suitable to be used in barometer. But if we use water in barometer, then length of the tube should be 10.34 meter instead of 1 meter. Now we are going to discuss variation in atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure varies inversely with height. If you increase the height, atmospheric pressure will decreases. If you look at the picture, then you can see that atmospheric pressure is maximum at sea level and minimum at the space. Now we are going to discuss applications of atmospheric pressure. And the first application is drinking straw. When sucked air inside the straw is removed, leaving a low pressure area. The higher atmospheric pressure acts on the surface of water. If you look at the picture, these arrows represent the atmospheric pressure which acts on the surface of water. And due to this atmospheric pressure, drinks pushed into the straw. Now another application of atmospheric pressure is sucker hook. When the sucker hook is pressed, the air inside is forced out and leaving a low pressure area. The higher external atmospheric pressure outside presses down on the hook and makes it stick to the wall. Now take another example of a vacuum cleaner. If you look at the picture, you can clearly see the parts of the vacuum cleaner. There is a dust bag, an electric motor, a rotating brush, an exhaust port, a filter, a fan, and an intake port. When you switch on the vacuum cleaner, fan will start its rotation, due to which a low pressure area is produced inside the vacuum cleaner. Now large atmospheric pressure outside the vacuum cleaner pushes the dust and dirt particles inside. These dust and dirt particles will attach to the filter and air will move out through exhaust port. This is how it works. You can also observe atmospheric pressure at your home. Take a glass, fill it with water. Now place a cardboard over it. Now if you invert the glass, water will remain in the glass. This is due to the atmospheric pressure which acts on the cardboard. Pressure in liquids. The pressure of a liquid acts in all directions. It can be found out by using the formula P is equals to rho g h. Here P is the pressure in liquids, rho is the density, g is the gravitational acceleration, and h is the depth. How you can derive this relation? If we take a pressure sensor device inside a liquid, then pressure of the liquid varies with the depth. Deeper the object, more will be the pressure. Now consider the load surface area of the device. H is the height of the sensor and P is the pressure on the load surface of the pressure sensor device. Then P is equals to F over A. P is the pressure on the load surface and it can be found out by using the formula F over A. Now this force will be equal to the weight of the liquid, which is equals to W, and this W will be equals to mg. Now by using the formula for density, you can find out the value of m, which is equals to rho multiplied by v, where rho is the density and v is the volume. And m is equals to rho ah. You can split the volume into area and height. Put this value in equation 2, we will get F is equals to rho ahg. Again put this value in equation 1, we get P is equals to rho ahg over A, where equation 1 is pressure is equals to force per unit area. Now you have to put this value of force in that relation. You can clearly see that we have two similar terms on the denominator as well as in the numerator. So this term will be cancelled out and we will left with that relation that P is equals to rho gh. So this is the required formula for pressure, and it implies that pressure of the liquid is directly related with the depth. That is, P is directly related with the depth. Pascal's law. Pressure applied at any point of a liquid enclosed in a container is transmitted without loss to all other parts of the liquid. It can be demonstrated with the help of a glass vessel having holes all over its surface. You can clearly see in this diagram we have a glass vessel which has holes all over its surface. Fill it with water, push the piston. This piston is movable, you can move it up and down. The water rushes out of the holes in the vessel with the same pressure. The force applied on the piston exerts pressure on water. This pressure is transmitted equally throughout the liquid in all directions. Applications of Pascal's law. Pascal's law find many applications in our daily life, such as hydraulic brake system, hydraulic jack, hydraulic press, and other hydraulic machines. But now we are going to discuss hydraulic press. Hydraulic press is a machine which works on Pascal's law. It consists of two cylinders of different cross-sectional areas. They are fitted with pistons of cross-sectional areas A1 and A2. A1 is the smaller cross-sectional area, whereas A2 is the larger cross-sectional area. The object to be compressed is placed over the piston of large cross-sectional area A2. The force F1 is applied on the piston of small cross-sectional area A1. The pressure P produced by a small piston is transmitted equally to all parts of the liquid according to Pascal's law. And the force that is produced on larger piston, that is A2, will be greater than F1. So how we can find out the relation? We can find out the relation by using this equation for pressure, that is P is equals to F1 over A1. Pressure on the larger piston will be P is equals to F2 over A2. According to Pascal's law, both the pressures are equal. That is, the pressure which is produced due to force F1 will be equally transmitted throughout the liquid. So we will compare these two equations. So we will get a relation that is F1 over A1, which is equals to F2 over A2. Now F2, that is the force which is produced on the larger surface, will be unknown. So F2 is equals to F1 A2 by A1. Since the ratio A2 by A1 is greater than 1, because A2 is the larger cross-sectional area and A1 is the smaller cross-sectional area. So larger quantity divided by smaller quantity, the answer will be greater than 1. Hence this force F2 will be greater than the force that acts on the smaller piston. Hydraulic system working in this way are known as force multipliers. Because why they are force multipliers? Because by applying a smaller force, larger force will be produced. Braking system in vehicles is another application of Pascal's law. If you look at the picture, you can see that brake pedal is attached to a cylinder which has a movable piston filled with brake fluid. This brake fluid is oil. Now when press the brake pedal, this piston moves inwards, produces pressure in this fluid. Now according to Pascal's law, this pressure is equally transmitted to all parts without any loss. So this pressure acts on the larger piston and it will move outwards, pressing the brake pads with disc. Force of friction between brake pads and disc stops the wheel. If there is any leakage of brake fluid, then brakes will not work properly, or you can say that brakes are failed. Now we are going to solve some examples which are given in your book. This is example 7.2. In a hydraulic press, a force of 100 Newton is applied on the piston of a pump of cross-sectional area 0.01 meter square. Find the force that compresses a cotton bale placed on larger piston of cross-sectional area 1 meter square. Here F1, that is the smaller force, is given, which is 100 Newton. Smaller cross-sectional area and larger cross-sectional area, both areas are also given, which is 0.01 and 1 meter square respectively. Pressure on smaller piston is F1 over A1. So put the value of F1 as well as A1. A1 is the area of smaller cross-sectional area, that is represented by small a. So put these values, we will get the value for pressure, which is 10,000 Newton per meter square. Now by applying Pascal's law, we get force F2 acting on the bale is equals to PA. That is 10,000 Newton per meter square multiplied by 1 meter square. This is the value of pressure which we have derived earlier, and A is the area of larger cross section. So multiply these two terms, we will get the answer, or we will get the force, larger force, which has a magnitude 10,000 Newton. This hydraulic press will compress the bale with a force of 10,000 Newton. If you look at the value of forces, that by applying 100 Newton of force, 10,000 Newton force will be produced. It means this hydraulic press is a force multiplier. Now we have another problem from your exercise. This is problem 7.6. The head of a pen is a square of side 10 mm. Find the pressure on it due to a force of 20 Newton. So we have to find out the pressure by using force and length of side of a pen. So according to given data, length of side of a pen is 10 mm. You have to convert this milli into SI unit and put the value of milli, that is 10 raised to the power minus 3. So we have the value of length, that is 10 raised to the power minus 2 meter. Now area of square pen, square has area L square. So we can find out the area of the square pen by multiplying these two lengths, and we will get the answer as 10 raised to the power minus 4 meter square. Force is given, which is 20 Newton. Now simply put the values of force and area in the formula for pressure, which is F over A. We will get the required answer, that is 2 into 10 raised to the power 5 meter square. Now we are going to solve another problem which is given in your book. This is problem number 7.11. The diameter of the piston of a hydraulic press is 30 cm. How much force is required to lift a car weighing 20,000 Newton on its piston if the diameter of the piston of the pump is 3 cm? According to the given statement, it is the application of hydraulic press. So we will put the formula for hydraulic press, that is F1 over A is equals to F2 by A. These areas can be found out by using these formulas. A is equals to pi d square by 4, where d is the diameter.